Residual hauntings, paranormal standards, and my beard? Let's take a look at your comments and find out what you weirdos want to know right now on What the Fetch. Hey weirdos, I'm Grant. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Our first comment comes from Madison Simon. She asks, can you explain further the residual haunt of yourself? I'm intrigued. In my residual haunting video, I mentioned a case where a woman was haunted by a residual haunting of herself when she was a child. Well, Madison, a residual haunting is an imprint, if you will, left by an event. That event will play out when the conditions are right, no matter who's there. So imagine, if you will, somehow imprinting an event on a location when you were younger. That event, theoretically, could play out in that location again while you are still alive and able to watch it. So you would see yourself as a child enacting that event again. We actually do this all the time. Every time you watch a video of yourself, you're technically watching a residual haunting. It's not as weird to us though, because we know how that one works through technology. We are imprinting an event on media and we are able to see it again when the conditions are correct. It's only when we take away the technology and see this happen naturally that it becomes weird and hard to understand, even though we see this happen with technology nearly every day. So hopefully that clears things up, Madison. The next one comes from Shani Brown. Hopefully I'm saying that correct. She says, hey Grant. Hi Shani, or Shani. Is it possible for a location to have both intelligent and residual hauntings? So glad to see you back. Heart. Thanks. Glad to be back. Okay, Shani, remember that a residual haunting and an intelligent haunting are caused by two very different things. In theory, a residual haunting is just trapped energy with no intelligence behind it at all. An intelligent haunting is just a person who has passed on with as much intelligence as that person had when they were alive. They don't rely on each other in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I even dealt with a case where an intelligent haunting was reacting to a residual haunting. I know, right? Again, to make the comparison to the movie, your question is essentially asking me if I could be at my home and have a movie playing at the same time. The movie being the residual haunting, and me being the intelligent haunting. The answer then is yes, you absolutely can have a residual haunting and an intelligent haunting in the same place. In fact, more often than not, that's the case. Okay, to quote Kermit the Frog, moving right along. The next one comes from Cassie R. Any relation to Cassie O, a famous musician I know? Okay, yeah, that was bad. Cassie asks, why would limestone and quartz deposits affect a haunting? Well, Cassie, paranormal investigation is essentially a science in its infancy. And this is one of the problems with a science in its infancy. We don't have a lot to go on. All we can really focus on are the trends we see. And most of the hauntings that we paranormal investigators deal with have limestone, iron, or quartz deposits nearby. We don't really know why, but the theories abound. Everything ranging from the molecular structure and vibration of quartz to the fact that limestone is made up of a bunch of dead organisms. It's really all over the map. Nobody knows for sure. I don't know. I don't pretend to know. All I can say is that there is a trend where these materials are present in most haunting situations. In one way, it's frustrating not to know. In another, it's exciting, because we're pretty much at the beginning of this age of paranormal discovery. All we can really do right now is look for the trends in the paranormal and share those notes, hoping that one day, someone smarter than us will figure it all out. Next, we get into a somewhat lengthy comment by Sharon Hill. She makes a lot of points that I want to address, so we'll move right through it. She says, this was good. A distinction is absolutely necessary. However, most people who call themselves paranormal investigators and go into people's homes are completely unqualified to conduct an investigation or advise a homeowner on anything. I hate to say it, but they learned what to do from watching TV shows. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say an investigator can't advise the homeowner on anything. That's a little extreme. But you're absolutely correct. It wasn't long into the filming of Ghost Hunters where I started to see the ripple of the effects of the show. Yes, the paranormal field was opening up. People were talking about it. But people were also assembling groups and going into people's homes without knowing what it takes to actually do that. And it was terrifying. I felt that burden a lot, and so I started doing lectures. In fact, that's one of the main reasons that's fueling me doing these videos right now. There's so much more a paranormal investigator needs to know before they step into someone's home. The burden we felt was so strong, we even had investigators teach Paranormal 101 classes. They were long classes that were designed to either make or break you as a paranormal investigator. We would try to scare you out of becoming a paranormal investigator. If at the end of those classes you still wanted to be a paranormal investigator, then you deserve to be one. Now she goes on. I agree that there are so many potential areas of knowledge you should have, but how can non-professionals teach each other about home wiring, psychology, legal liability, belief systems, proper research methods, etc.? This is a very valid point, Sharon. The simple answer here is that we do rely on professionals as much as possible. When I bring new people onto my team, I am not looking for ghost enthusiasts. I want professionals with knowledge I don't have. I want professional contractors, HVAC guys, electricians, psychologists, theologians, you name it. I'm looking for people with knowledge, arrows in their quiver that they can use to disprove the paranormal and help keep the homeowners and the entire team safe. And I use professional lawyers to drop any paperwork we need and advise in any action we take. She continues, I'm not averse to having some sort of system to qualify investigators, because it should not just be people who have an interest. But the community is so democratic and independent, they do not seem willing to invoke and follow any standards. Well, Sharon, you're not the first to feel this way. We all would love for there to be some kind of standard to go by. But there are reasons why this isn't happening. First off, again, this is a science in its infancy. There are no experts in this field. I am not an expert. I am simply someone with a lot of experience. Similar to the medical field in its infancy, if we all do it the same way, we're not going to learn as quickly. We all kind of need to spread out and do things differently. We cover more ground that way. If we all do it the same way, we simply don't learn as fast. But the key here is we need to share that information for any of this to make sense. Secondly, everyone would have to agree on a set of standards, and we simply don't have enough information as a field to determine what those standards are. Thirdly, even if we were able to agree on a set of standards, someone would have to enforce that. If you can't enforce a standard, why have them at all? The resources and liability required here are prohibitive, given the fact that this is a field run primarily by volunteers. We tried to get around these obstacles back in the day by teaching those 101 classes I mentioned, and by building the TAPS family. The TAPS family is a listing of groups we felt approach paranormal investigation similarly to us. But we made it very clear that we were not responsible for the actions of these groups. We also offered awards to groups that didn't charge the client for investigation and who didn't use Ouija boards or other summoning mechanisms in their investigations. So it's a tricky situation. We tried and had some success. I think as we inch forward as a field, we can slowly develop these standards one by one. Your sentiments are spot on, Sharon, and have been felt by many of us for a long, long time. Unfortunately, we just have to inch our way towards it, like everything in the paranormal. And our last comment comes from Steven Smith. Steven says, OMG, you have to shave, dude. Oh, I knew there was something I was forgetting to do. Actually I don't. As a free-willed creature, I can grow a beard. The thing is, Steven, my wife likes it, and that's really all that matters to me. Besides, you're not really my type. Well, there you have it. I love hearing from you guys. Make sure you leave a comment or a question down below so I can make more videos about what you weirdos want to know. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Stay weird.